What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chishu Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Woman says he loves LIZZO-sized women, but he's embarrassed to admit it to society. Don't believe me? Check it out for yourself. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
It is honestly embarrassing how often I would overlook this in my past dating experiences. Like a few years ago, there was this guy that I hooked up with on and off for about like a year. And of course, he was a stereotypical frat finance bro. I always knew that we were just a hookup and it was never going to turn into anything real. But one
That's sad. Let's keep watching.
day I asked him like, hey, do your friends know that you're into bigger girls? And he said, yeah, I tried to tell them once, but they just made fun of me, so I don't really talk to them about it. So I was like, what does that mean for like your dating life? So he literally said, yeah, I just F fat girls in private and then I'll just date and marry a skinny girl. Bad part is I continued to sleep with him even after having that conversation. Another time in college, I was hooking up again with this guy for about 8-7 months, and I spent about like 60 to 70% of my nights staying over at his place. He would sometimes order dinner from places nearby us, and when he'd walk to go pick it up, I'd be like, oh, let me come with you. And he always said, nah, it's okay, you just stay here, I got it.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
So obviously all these guys were embarrassed to be seen with her. But anyways, let's keep listening.
And the few times that I did go with him, he wouldn't hold my hand. He wouldn't touch me in public. Then all of a sudden, I get a text from him saying, oh, I can't see you anymore. I have a girlfriend. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, we spent a lot of nights together. This man literally said, yeah, I would go on dates during the day or nights I didn't see you, and then you would just come over the other nights. I could literally tell a million stories like this. And I wish I could tell you that I learned from these experiences and that I raised my bars and I never let other men treat me like that. But I can't say that to you. I was just so desperate for male validation that I put up with all of these terrible experiences knowing full well what was happening. These people want to believe that no one finds fat people attractive, but that's just incorrect. There's plenty of men that find us attractive, but they will never, ever be honest about it because they're so afraid of going against the grain, of being made fun of for being into bigger girls.
Why is this so funny to me? Why is it so funny? Am I the only one laughing right now? Let's keep listening. They're afraid of going against the grain. I don't know about that.
And it's truly atrocious because we're fat. So if you're one of these fat baddies like me who put up with terrible shit like this from men, please stop. There is no D that is good enough for you to lower yourself to such awful standards. Be better than
Apparently there is. I mean, based on her story, apparently there is. Now, guys, here's the truth. I've done videos, plenty of videos on fat chicks. I really have. And I've always given them their credit. I have always said men will bust those cheeks. Guaranteed they will. All types of men. Finance bros, famous men, rich men. In fact, I'll go as far as to say that most men out here that society would categorize as top tier men have smashed a fat chick in their life. But here's the problem. What's being lost here, what women, I wish more women understood, is the male friend zone. Ma'am, you were not in a relationship with those men. You were friend zone. This is the bitter coffee that LIZZO-sized women refuse to drink.
Put that coffee down.
And guys, I know there are men out here who prefer larger women. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the scenario she painted. He spends time with you. He allows you to show up at night and sneak out through the window in the morning and refuses to take you on dates because it's never spoken, right? No one is as bold as the first guy she said, who just straight up said for what it is. But he refuses to take you out on dates, and it's kind of known. You both understand what it is. It's because you're fat, and he's embarrassed to be seen out with you. But he's not embarrassed enough to not smash. That's because he's willing to put you in the friend zone. And women typically don't understand this because women refuse to acknowledge that men and women are different. A woman's friend zone is she gets what she wants, which is attention, time. You sit there, you listen to her story. She complains about all the other guys that are getting to smash, and you're on the phone giving her relationship advice. And she says, wow, I wish I could find a guy just like you. And you're like, hey, I am me, date me. But something about you is off. You are a simp. You're a simp, right? And same thing with the guy, right? He might find you even attractive in the face. There are chicks out here, larger women, who you look at them and you say, if you lost 300 pounds, you could change your life. Literally. Maybe 300 pounds is too much. Let's be honest, there is such a thing as a larger chick who's kind of pretty in the face, who guys will mess with. And it's like, if you lost weight, if you did something drastic here and changed your life for the better, I would take you out on dates. It's seriously that simple. And you see it with these women who lose weight, and all of a sudden guys who are dating them now want to marry them. Guys who are dating them get them pregnant, like fast, not slow. And it just comes down to the fact that you are in that man's friend zone. That one thing he wishes you could change is your appearance. But in most cases, what happens? The woman doesn't lose the weight. She's like, I'm not going to change myself for a man. I'm going to be me. Like the simp who's like, well, if I have to be a jerk to get women, then I guess I'm just going to wait till the right one comes. It's like, what can you do? And women lie to each other. And she somehow made this problem with like, come out the closet, tell everybody you love fat chicks. It's like, nah, it's not what you think. You're in the friend zone. And if you did lose that weight, my man would definitely be okay going out on a date with you. And yes, being overweight matters that much to men. Women today don't want it to. They wish they could change men, of course, but it matters that much. This is the same with a broke guy, you know, who you look at him, you're like, man, you're attractive, but you can't help me start a family. And you will let him smash, but he's not, you know, that husband material that women like to categorize men in. As always, the internet did respond, and they had a lot to say. First comment here comes from a woman, and she says, this is why I don't even believe that my husband legitimately finds me attractive. Okay, so this woman is obviously overweight, and so she's like, my husband doesn't want to take me out on dates, etc. Loses weight, plain and simple. But anyways, another woman responded back and said, oh my gosh, yes, because it's like, if he treats me well, then what's the catch? Laughing emoji, felt. Another person added to this thread and said, I was with my husband for years, just waiting for the prank shoe to drop. At this point, I trust him mostly. Okay, so I guess his women are like, because men have just used them for sex in the past, they struggle to be accepted by the men that they're with. There are men out there who would marry overweight women. There are men out there who do it, right? But in the situation that she described, those men typically are not going to settle down with the overweight woman. They're going to get someone who they find more physically attractive and get in a relationship with that chick. Another woman here says, yes, we've been married 11 years and I still don't believe him. Next, another comment here from another woman says, I've been on a date, but have gone to men's houses in the middle of the night countless times. I'm 30, laughing my effing A off. She belongs to the street. Next comment here from another woman says, I had a guy who told me I was the best he ever had, literally was sexually obsessed with me, then proceeded to ditch me because I wasn't thin enough for his friends. Like, man would constantly blow up my phone to see me and the sex was good, but he knew his friends wouldn't approve of my looks, with the laughing emoji. No, ma'am, you were in the friend zone. Another woman added to this conversation and said, imagine ditching such a good time for your friends' opinions. She has a sick emoji and she goes on to say, why not ditch the friends instead? Yeah, listen, sex is a small part of a relationship. I mean, it is important, but it can't be the deciding factor of why a man decides to stay with you. Those relationships never work for long term, right? Those ones that are based on, well, I stayed with him because the sex was great. It has to be more than that, because much more time is spent outside of the bedroom than in the bedroom. If outside the bedroom, he's looking at you disgusted, just sorry, Just got to be honest. But if he looks at you, then do you truly want to be with that person? Truly think about that. Better off being with somebody who actually is okay being out and about with you. Next comment here from another woman says, I dated a guy who told me how much he loved big girls, and that kind of turned me off because I felt fetishized. Sad face. She goes on to say, where's the middle ground? Another chick here says, I literally had a guy say that we couldn't even be friends because he didn't want the pretty girls to think we were a couple. Bullet dodged. Next, another woman here says, it's actually quite lonely when you stop putting up with it. With the sad eye. It's actually quite lonely when you stop putting up with it. Meaning when you wait for a guy who's actually going to take you out on a date. She goes on to say, sometimes I wish I could change back, with the sad face, but mostly not. Whoa. Why do these women who are overweight act like there is no option to lose the weight, right? There's no option to lose the weight. Again, it's so much easier to give advice to men because you could tell a man, bro, you got to lose the weight. But with women, got to feed them lies and a fantasy. Finally, last comment here says, I'm 46 now, but I relate to this so hard. Exactly the same experience over the years and nothing has changed. This is the future of people who don't want to improve for the better. As a man, you can't live, listen, as a guy, you can't live in this type of delusion. You can't sit here and complain about how like the world around you is showing you what you need to do to improve your life, but you're still wanting the world to change to adapt to your delusion. She said she's 46 and nothing has changed, still unmarried. Unfortunately, it's over unless she decides to change her life. Anyways, as always, guys, curious to know what you think. Leave your comments down below. I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pod. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.